Alright guys, so welcome back. Today we're going to be taking a look at another SD kit here, the Cassie Gundam with the HD release just around the corner. I'm interested to see how the SD looks. I've actually seen some pictures of the SD going around, and it does actually look pretty cool, even though SD is not really particularly my thing. I think just in general the design of the Cassie lends itself to be pretty well, because it's such a crazy proportionally design with the head and the massive shoulders and the long feet and everything. Just changing that into an SD design actually works pretty well, and so we'll see how that looks. In this case, we do also have this little messer here included in there, so you get like a kind of two-pack, sort of. You get a little tiny kind of mini SD messer in there as well too, so that makes for a pretty good deal, I guess, right? So let's go ahead and check it out. So yes, here on the front of the box, the Cassie Gundam is looking very cute with his SD eyes and everything. You have these effect parts which are also included in here as well too. I know you have a couple of those for the little funnel missiles, and there's the messer up there on his little base jabber there as well too. This kit came out all the way back in 2013, so it's not been out for quite as long as the other two SD kits that we've just previously taken a look at, but here on the side you can see this is number 386 in the BB Senshi line of SD kits. On the bottom of the box there you can see what that's going to look like with his big massive feet sticking out. It looks like he's just got a torso and then like no skirt and then just feet sticking out of the bottom of the torso, basically is how it looks. And then there's those effect parts like I mentioned, which do look pretty cool. So you've got the beam saber, the shield, the beam rifle, and then some effect parts there. Here's you got some details about that. The head of course has the gimmick where you can change the eyes between the SD style and the kind of normal style eyes there for that. Then here's how it's going to look from the back, and the flight armor there for that opened up, and our tiny little messer that you have included with this as well too. Like I said, so there's that. On the other side you can see exactly how this is going to look just built up straight out of the box without any painting or anything like that. So you can see how that looks. The messer is just basically red on top of a little yellow little base jabber, and then how the kit looks. The color separation not too bad for this basically. Over here just look at basically recreating the box art there using the kit, and then we can get it popped open. So let's see what we got in here. We will also have the base stand included that you'll have included with this, so very cool. We'll take a look at the runners here in just a moment. Let's first just check out the instruction manual, which on the front is going to feature a painted sample build of that, so you can use that for reference, how it's supposed to be looking when it's all painted and panel lined up, all that. No markings or anything on it, so I want to throw some markings on this, but I don't think we have any included, so there's that. On the back side, just a little bit about the messer, so you can see it's going to be very simple, just like 3 pieces for that, 1 piece for the gun, 1 piece for the little base jabber, and that's basically it. And it looks like your extra pieces can fit on the underside of that, so that's cool. It's a good place to store those. That just fits on a base, or you can actually stick the base right on top of that to sort of stack them up, have the base up on top of that guy there. Here's the painting guide for that, so you can see how that's meant to look when it's all painted up, but obviously it's going to take a lot to get it to look like that when it's basically just that. The color guide is down there at the bottom for you. It's basically just your normal Gundam colors: white, yellow, blue, red, gray, and that's basically it. On the inside here we do have some more information that's all in Japanese. You see photograph down there. Here's a look at the actual Cassie Gundam, like full-size version of that, and our comic world over here. So you got your SD style comic right there. Inside we have our parts list and the construction for the SD Cassie Gundam itself. But let's go ahead and check out the runners. So here's our foil sticker sheet for the kit. As you can see, there's going to be a good number of those. You got the eye stickers and then some other different color correcting stickers there in red, yellow, and gray, and a few stickers looks like for the messer there as well too. Our polycaps are here in gray, PC303 for a few polycaps there. And for our base part, it's SV1 for a little clear base and arm piece for that. Remember, A1 is going to be in white, but it definitely does have a slight blue tint to the white, so you can see there's some parts for the head, including our effect parts on here, which are also going to be in white there, obviously. And then we're under A2 for the remainder of all of our white parts here, including the beam saber, which is also not going to have a clear part for that effect. Unfortunately, it's just a solid white beam blade for that. Runner B here is in a gray color for some gray parts, hand parts, and some weapons parts. Runner C here in blue for some more parts for that, including the feet. Runner D, a few parts there in red, including all the parts basically for our messer, as you can see, looking very cute on there. And then runner E here in yellow is the part for the base jabber there, as well as a couple of parts in yellow, including the V-fin there for our Gundam. So there you have it, guys. Should be a pretty fun little build. Let me go ahead and put it together and see how it looks. Alright guys, here it is, and it's definitely looking very cool. This is coming out from the time when I think a lot of the BB Senshi kits coming out at this time have overall quite good reviews as far as I've heard. I've not really built very many of them, only a couple of them. But I know a lot of this kind of time of SD BB Senshi kits are really pretty good overall, and this one is certainly no exception. There are a lot of stickers on there, but again, I think that's pretty normal for an SD kit to have a lot of missing little color apps. And even with all the stickers, there's still a lot of colors that are not represented there that should be there for the full color accurate design. But while I think the design of this kit is pretty great, I still would love to see this as an SD cross silhouette. I'm sure it would be even better. I don't think that that's going to happen, but it would be cool to see this, or maybe possibly like the Penelope or something, to come out as an SD cross silhouette kit. I think that would be pretty awesome. Sort of in the vein of the Nightingale, how that was like a really big design and made for a cool SD cross silhouette kit. I think the Penelope could be similar. But anyway, let's check out the Cassie here. Right, so first off, the head design itself I think looks fantastic here in SD form. You have this massive part there at the front. The V-fin looks great. Extra oversized kind of here in SD form. We have stickers for the eyes, of course, and then black stickers in here for the Vulcans, and then this little vent here on the side of the face. So you got little black stickers to fill in those spaces, so that's nice. You don't have to worry about that. The head, of course, is your typical SD head, where you can take this apart if you can get it out of there. Easier said than done. You just take off the eyepiece and turn that around to the other side there for your usual style Gundam eyes if you prefer, and I certainly do, but I know it's an SD kit, so a lot of people might prefer the SD style cute eyes, but I definitely like it like that. For our other stickers on the kit, of which there are quite a few, we have a camera sticker there on the back of the head, these little red stickers here on the backs of the shoulders. Down here on the legs, a little red sticker there, red stickers on the sides of the feet there. On the inside of the legs, little red stickers for those vents up in there. Little red sticker here right on the front for that little bit there. And then in the shoulders, you got red stickers for the front and back of those little fins inside the shoulders there. And I think that's it here for the body. We will have some more on the weapons and accessories and stuff we'll see here in just a minute. But as for the articulation, the head will go up and down a little bit, not that much, unfortunately. It's kind of blocked from going for any further back. The front of this part here moves a little bit for the flight mode, so that just opens up like that when it's supposed to be just kind of down like that. Around here on the back as well too, these will move up and down both sides like that. Some nice detail, but again, it's just all in white, so definitely a little bit of painting in there will help that. The shoulder joint will swing out to the front here. You can bring the shoulders up and the arms up. Not that much. That really seems to be about the extent of that, unfortunately. That said, the beam saber handles on the top will also fold up like that for kind of being deployed. Also, of course, the shoulder armor opens up also again for the flight mode like that. The arm will rotate there at the connection. You've got a bend there in the elbow that'll give you about like 45 degrees if we're being generous. That's about it. The wrist is just on a little ball joint there for the hands. We do have some rotation here at the waist section. The skirting armor doesn't move at all, so that's just all fixed in place. The legs are on a ball joint, so those will move around a little bit there, not all that much. The feet as well too are on just little ball joints. Those can move around a little bit, but not all that much. You can get them moved to be a relatively wide stance for an SD kit anyway. Up underneath the feet, pretty much lacking detail, entirely no detail, and then just hollow gaps in there as well too, unfortunately. As for seam lines on the kit, you will have a seam line here on the legs, on the front, and then on the back a little bit there in that kind of little vernier detail there on the back of the leg. Unfortunately, a seam line right down the middle of that. And that's really kind of about it here on the kit. Here on the head, you have that big massive line there, but that's just made up as a panel line. I kind of don't really like, I like that they hid the seam line as a panel line, but it's still just a big straight line down the side of the head, so it's just still not looking very attractive. I would have liked if they would have made that kind of a little bit more designed so that it hides the seam a little bit better rather than just a big straight line there, but at least you don't need to worry about removing that seam line if you don't mind that line there. Now also to be included with this, you have the beam rifle with two little stickers here for the upper and lower camera. This is also just two halves, so you will have a seam line down the middle of this that'll just fit into the hand, easy peasy. And then you have the shield, which has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 stickers on it. Everything other than white and red on there is stickers, so plenty to go around on this thing, but it is nicely detailed. So as you can see, you got a few different places where you can plug in the handle if you prefer that to be a little bit different. Then we also have your beam saber here as well too, which is just the handle molded together with the beam effect parts, so you'll definitely want to paint that beam effect parts to be looking something other than just plain solid white. And speaking of solid white effect parts, here are the effect parts for our funnel missiles. The effect parts, look interesting enough. It's just the fact that they're just molded together with the part there. Unfortunately, wish these would have been separated. Even if this was white, at least if it was separate parts, it would have been easier. But not now. Not only do you have to paint this instead of having an actual clear effect part, then you also have to mask this part up here, which is a little bit annoying. But these will plug in right here into the shoulder. You see there's that little hole there for you to plug this effect part into there to make it look like these are shooting out of the shoulders like that. Which, again, they look fine, I think, as is, especially for an SD kit. I just wish that those were actual clear parts instead of these solid white ones. Now, that's not all, because you do also have included a stand here, which is kind of similar to the kind of 4-piece stand we see included with a lot of kits, where the base part is like 2 halves, 2 separate pieces, and then you have the arm and the connection piece. It's basically the same, except like a cheaper, simpler version of that, if you can imagine. Where I find this part here at the top to be kind of loose, where on the other versions of the kit, it's usually too tight. This one, it's too loose, and I'm finding it falls off really easily, so I have to be careful with that. But it can be used, of course, with the Kasee Gundam itself. You just plug that right up into there like normal. But it can also be used with our little baby Messer here. And if you take a look at the artwork, you can see it's missing quite a few colors on that. I almost wish that the little thing that it's riding on there was molded in orange, because that seems to be closer. I mean, there's some yellow on there, but it seems the primary color is kind of more orange, isn't it? And the Messer is in this very bright toy red. Again, could have been molded in a little bit nicer red color, I feel like. You got some stickers there for its eyes, basically the 2 little stickers there. This is really only made up of 3 parts. You have the front and back half of the body, and then the arms are actually molded together, but there's a bar going through the middle of the body there. If you clip that in the center, then you can move the arms individually. As you can see, it's just pretty basic. All the backside is completely hollow there, but I mean, interesting to be like a mini SD kit included. And then of course you have the beam rifle. Its beam rifle is included there as well too, which again, for a tiny mini beam rifle, doesn't look that bad. The hands can hold right onto the handles here. As again, if you clip the arms apart, then you can separate those and have it just holding on by 1 hand, or you could have it holding on by 2 hands if you didn't want to be using the beam rifle. But that's, again, interestingly detailed, just on the underside hollow, but this also serves another purpose, because you can plug your accessories when not in use onto the bottom side of this. Just plug the beam rifle onto there and beam saber onto there for storage, which is always nice to have a storage place for that. And then this can be plugged onto the base as well too, by just plugging that right up into the center of that to have this sort of flying along with your Kasee Gundam. So I almost wish that they would have included 2 of that base, so that we could have 1 base to use for our Messer there, and then 1 to use for our actual Kasee Gundam. That would have been ideal, but unfortunately not the case. And for a size comparison, here it is with the SD Cross Silhouette Gundam Barbatos Lupus, which for reference does have the CS frame in there, so it is going to be a little bit taller. Actually, in universe, the Kasee Gundam would be much larger than the Barbatos Gundam, but obviously in SD scale, that's all kind of thrown out the window. And basically, I just wanted to show you guys that it's generally about the same size as your standard SD kit. But overall, guys, I gotta say this is definitely a very cool kit. If you couldn't have guessed by now, the main reason why I got this kit was because I want to maybe try doing a SD HG kit bash with the upcoming release of the HG, which should be out in just a matter of days at the point of recording this review. So I'll have that in hand pretty soon. Looking forward to building that, checking that kit out, and then possibly doing some kit bashing with this particular SD anyway. So just something that I'm hoping to do a little bit of work on in the near future. But for now, I think this is a pretty cool kit. Definitely, if you can get your hands on it for a good price, if you're a fan of the Kasee Gundam and maybe don't want something quite as large as the HG, or if you just like how this design looks in SD, I think it's another one of those cases where in like the normal proportions, this is a pretty oddly proportioned Gundam with just massive shoulders and just kind of really weird, strange design. But I think when you shrink that down into SD proportions, it looks really cool. It's the same thing like with the Nightingale, which I talked about earlier. Again, I'll just bring that up as an example, but it's another perfect example of a really odd, big, bulky, strangely proportioned design that works really well in SD, in my personal opinion. But let me know your guys' thoughts down in the comment section below. What do you think about this? It does have some pros and cons, but I think it's overall still a pretty cool kit. And of course, if you guys are interested in checking out any SD kits or any different Gundam kits or anything like that, you can check the link to USA Gundam Store in the video description below, as well as my coupon code there for you guys to use and save 10% off there on the site. You can use that as much as you'd like, so use it frequently. If you order from there frequently, don't forget to use that. And thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your support, guys. Liking the video, commenting, subscribing, and until next time, I hope you're all having a great day. I'll see y'all later. Bye-bye.